Luke Mangan and the man who supplies meat to his chain of restaurants, the CEO of Haverick Meats Peter Andrews, join me now from Sydney. Peter, thank you for your time. I want to go to you first if I can. How has your business been impacted by this lockdown?
Well, Haverick Meats supplies some of the greatest restaurants around Australia, both in not only New South Wales, Brisbane, Victoria. When the lockdowns were announced, we lost over 80% of our businesses instantly. And obviously, the knock-on of... Yes?
No, please go, Peter.
Yeah, so the businesses have come to a complete halt. Everything was tracking really well, and now we're in another lockdown, and I must say Gladys has been handling everything absolutely perfect. And my concern is we don't want to follow what happened to Victoria, where a 7-day circuit breaker turned into a 6-week lockdown. We have millions of dollars worth of inventory, and we have no sales for these in the hospitality market.
Look, you're spot on, Peter, because it's the supply chain issues and knowing when you are able to resume that was so devastating in Victoria. They never had that clarity. Luke, I'll go to you if I can. You say we've got to learn to live with this virus. Like everyone, I'm looking at my social media. I'm seeing restaurants open in New York and London and all through Europe. They are managing to live with the virus in a way that we haven't yet in Australia. What does it look like for you to be able to open up again and live with this virus and deal with the vaccinations? What do you need from government?
Well, look, I think, firstly, as Peter said, I think the various secular government's done a great job so far. And what the Treasurer, Dominic Perrottet, has announced today has been fantastic as well. So that's short-term fix. Now, if this goes on for longer, that's where the real problems are. And I think what we've got to do is get the vaccinations out there rolling. And you can see, you look at the TV last night with Wimbledon, everyone's out there. Restaurants, as you said, are open. So we need a clear pathway. We just can't, tell everyone that our businesses are stopping. And this is not just in this state. Obviously, it's everywhere now in other states. But, we need notice and we need a pathway how we get through this next one. So that's a real problem. The pathway and a jab, jab for jobs is what I'm calling for. And I think that's really important.
Luke, are you surprised that we don't actually have a plan, that by X date we will be open?
Look, I understand we've got to get through these crucial few days, and I think once that happens and numbers will go down, we hope, a plan is good. The government, Gladys has been fantastic to us now, but don't let it slip. And as Peter said, we don't want to be going back to what Victoria have been doing, and you yourself have been interviewing friends of mine in the restaurant business, Chris Lucas. They've been through a lot of pain. We've been quite lucky up here in New South Wales, but let's not get to what they've been through, because I know their CBDs are still struggling in Victoria. Now, the government did a fantastic job with the Dine and Discover vouchers. This new voucher, the Friday lunch thing coming up, I think is great, but I think what the government need to do, and I hope they're watching and listening, let's extend that right through till the end of September. Get people back in the city, because all the hard work that's been done to get people back into the city, which by the time before this lockdown was really good. Things were actually back to normal. Staff felt comfortable. The people coming to the restaurants were feeling good. So we've got to really have a plan on how we get back open.
Yeah, and I'll just amplify those comments, Luke, because my time in Sydney in recent months, it has felt very much back to normal in the CBD, whereas Melbourne's still a ghost town in the centre part of town anyway. Peter, explain for my viewers at home the sort of knock-on effects that this lockdown has to a meat supply business and all the other businesses that you work with.
Well, it's the knock-on effect is huge, because already we have semi-trailer full of produce travelling across Australia on our way to Haverick Meats to supply these great restaurants. Now, we can't stop that. That's happening. We'll accept deliveries and we'll pay those bills. They're the big guys. Then we work with small producers, people that supply to us every week that require us to purchase their produce to stay afloat, to earn money. They've now stopped. Then obviously the restaurants, how will they pay the bills, all the outstandings? So you're talking there's quite a bit of knock-on effect from the lockdowns.
Peter, if you could have a message to government tonight, what would you say?
We need to have a clear path out of here, what Luke said. We need to know where we are headed, because that's critical for us, because at the moment we don't have a plan. Everyone is in shock and in limbo, and we're worried. We're worried we're going to follow what Victoria, what happened there. And we can't afford, because after the lockdowns, 14 days, we still have the square metre rules, and then we still have the masks, and then that's going to affect business for a lot longer. So the knock-on effect and the crawling out of this lockdown, you cannot continue to lock down businesses.
All right, you're spot on, and you did not want to end up like Victoria. Luke Mangan, you were right there. Luke, Peter Andrews, thank you for your time.